What's going on? Welcome to Totally Blitz Podcast. We're in for a doozy today as we break down the NFC South, our favorite division to cover and talk about. We got the Bucks, Falcons, Saints, and Panthers, how we see each team coming this season, who's winning the division, and how we rank this division. But as always, go down and like and subscribe. Comment who you got winning, how you feel, how your team's coming. I'm gonna try my best to keep the peace and be the mediator and the level-headed man this episode. And as y'all always know, I am Paul Pick 'em Win 'em Concha, and I'm joined with.
You already know, man. It's your boy Kev Water Voices boy, aka the dirtiest of the dirty birds. And I don't know why people have so much trouble when it comes to this division. Obviously, it's the most. It's a very thrill. I think we have a thrilling division. That's what I'll say. It's not a very high talented division where we're having crazy games like the Chiefs and Chargers for sure. But we have a lot of close games, and we talk shit, and we all hate each other. Like nobody really gives a fuck about the Panthers, but we hate each other. Nobody in this division likes each other even a little bit.
None. Yeah, there is no love lost in between any of them. Each of these teams have had a time where they each were reigning over another, which also makes it kind of fun. And it's all within the last 15 years. Within the last 15 years, each of this team could claim at least 2 to 5 of those years as they own.
And like the thing was, in a lot of times when one team was good, another team was really good at the same time. Like the Saints and Bucks rivalry that they just had, the Falcons and Saints rivalry that we kept going back and forth with, the fucking Panthers and Falcons. There was a year that the Panthers, Falcons, and Saints were all hitting one year. We were just like, what the fuck? Like it
And
was
it
insane.
happened. It happened almost. I feel like the handing of the ball or the handing of the torch of who's the best team has been. It happened overnight. Like every year. Like my best way I can think of it is like whenever the Saints were running the shit for like five, or before that, it was the Panthers were running it, Cam Newton, and the Saints have it with Michael Thomas. And then the next year, the Falcons go on a Super Bowl run, Matt Ryan MVP esque run, and then all of a sudden, like within a year or two, Tom Brady comes to the division, and now it's his division with the Buccaneers, and it's like all within like no one expected this new team to be now the best team period in this division. It was like, okay, this other team had their run. Are they going to repeat this year? And then that next year comes, and it's like, oh no, the new king of the mountain is this team, and they dominated the rest of the teams. And then they run for a little bit, and then overnight, it's like, oh, no one saw the Bucks last year winning this division. I think me and you both had them last, like buried under the coffin type of last place, and then they go
Baker,
9-8.
Baker Mayfield motherfucker came out of nowhere on our asses.
Starts banking, changes his story. They go to the playoffs. There's a whole. They go. Did they win a playoff game or was it close? I don't remember too much. I have a hazy memory, but I do remember they showed up for the playoffs. It wasn't even if they lost. It
Did they
wasn't.
beat the Cowboys? They either played the Cowboys or the Eagles.
I can't remember right now, to be honest. But I mean, that's just I'm just kind of oiling up gears to talk like we don't know what the fuck. Kev swears. Kev, you see his
Oh
hood
yeah,
sweatshirt. He has the master plan. He's gonna lay it out.
didn't even have to think twice on it. So this division is the division where we all know each other quite well. Our games, and that's how most division goes. We know each other's systems. We know Tampa gonna play cover two. You
How?
know,
Yeah, well, I feel like but like, there's a lot of new faces. Some of this team, like the Falcons, got new faces. The rest
a
of
lot of
the
cases.
Panthers are young.
I think we chose the right time to get a good to revamp because when we win this division, it's gonna be a new team, and then we can build on top of that.
Okay, well, before we get ahead of ourselves, we like to start from the bottom to the top. I'll kick open the door here. Unfortunately, the team that I had winning the division last year, I have them all the way at the bottom. I got the Panthers. They let me down last year big time. I had big hopes for Bryce Young. He could definitely take a step forward this year because there's no way he can take a step back. Not saying it was his fault. It was kind of malpractice across everywhere from coaching to game plan to blocking to receiving core. So I do expect them to do better. They go out there and get Deontay Johnson. They get Robert Hunt, one of our better offensive linemen from the Dolphins last year, Austin Colbert. Then they draft Xavier Legette, first round wide receiver. They get a second round of running back Jonathan Brooks out of Texas. So they go get Bryce Young, potentially a starting running back, a new wide receiver, two new wide receivers. They do lose stuff on the defensive side and Brian Burns and Frankie Louvu, but I don't think they care about that right now. I think they care about getting Bryce Young's legs underneath him, get him confident, and just build on last year. I don't think they expect to win a lot of games. I think what I said is what their hope is. Like, okay, let's just find out if Bryce is our guy, and if Bryce is our guy, we can go from there. So I got them in last, but they hold their own future in their hands on how well Bryce looks this year.
I like them to get 4 wins tops this season. I'll agree that they go in last. I don't think you can get any worse than 2-15, and I'm still mad that the Falcons was one of those teams late in the season last year when we had our collapse. But yeah, the Panthers suck. They gave up one of their best defenders. I think they just on like they're saying, they're on the step forward. All they give a fuck is like, yo, let's just see if Bryce is straight. Can we move forward with Bryce, or do we have to go back to the drawing board? Because we keep thinking we can step forward, and it's really not anywhere that we're going. We thought we was him with Sam Darnold. We thought we was him with Did they have Geno? They had somebody black.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater. They thought it was him with Teddy Bridgewater. They thought they was him when they brought Cam Newton back. Like there was like we can't take a step forward, so it doesn't matter. So I'm just hoping for that's what they're looking for, just to figure out, do we got to continue going, or do we just go back to the drawing board?
236 points scored last year, tied for worst with the Patriots. So that's just the number you got to improve upon.
Facts.
So this is where things get a little shaky here. The Saints, Falcons, and Bucks are all at play, I think, for 3, 2, and 1. And all three of these teams, I feel like all three of these teams are in the same predicament almost. Like if they play, like the way that their fans talk about their potential, if they can play to like what some of their fans talk, how good they're gonna be, these could become really good teams. But if they play to the bad side of what they could be, these teams could go 7-10, 6-11, stuff like that. So it's not volatile. It's just kind of a flip of a coin almost, damn near.
Oh, man.
Oh, here we go.
Don't let them niggas lie to you.
I want to know who you got at 3, because I know you hate both teams not as much as one another. You hate one fan base more. You might hate one team more. But I don't know who you really got at 3 here.
I mean, I could put Baker on the boards right here. Because they do suck. But I wanted to also put the Saints right here because they really suck.
Oh, you got a plot twist. You're going to put the Falcons right here.
But I think you can go back and forth. I don't see an upside when it comes to the Bucks from that season they had last year. I think they really like showed their nuts. They did what they could do, and now this year they're gonna come and just try to steal games, get sneaky wins, probably get 6 games. So I'm gonna put them here because the Saints. One thing I could do I don't mean to get ahead of myself, but I do rely on the Saints defense to always keep Tyrann Mathieu, and then. But Dennis Allen is another. But we haven't talked about it yet. But all these coaches are on the hot seat too. Like, not the new coaches, but Dennis Allen and Todd Bowles. They look crazy this year. They got to go, and I think Todd Bowles is going to be one of the boys that got to go.
Yeah, I don't know the exact odds, but I'm pretty sure I'm going out on a whim here that both of them are probably in the top 5 for first coach fired odds.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna go with the Saints here at 3. Like I said earlier, it's really almost a coin toss for all 3 of these. But the Saints edge out at 3. I do think all 3 of these teams might be within a game of each other. And it comes down to like those divisional games, and then not taking those like random week 6 games off against a bad team. Like every win's gonna matter in the final standings for this division. Saints go out. They do draft in the first round an offensive tackle. They go get a corner from Bama. who might be my favorite corner just because his name is Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid, he's a dog. I mean, he was a
He is a
first.
killer.
Yeah, Jit is nice, but so they do hit two key needs with those two back-to-back round picks. Chase Young, Willie Gay, they go out there and get both of them boys in free agency. So, like you said, the defense is going to be there. It's just all about the offensive line for Derek Carr. That to me is the biggest thing. Trevor Penning was the rookie last year that they had high hopes for. He looked ass last year. He looked bad this so far throughout preseason this year. I just don't think he's the offensive tackle for the future. And they lost Winston, who I know is the backup, but he's the guy who that's giving the speeches. He's the glue guy. He doesn't need to play the game for him to be in the locker room. This motherfucker showed up with a briefcase and a suit and was like, I brought the one thing that can stop us from getting the victory. What is it? They open it. Ain't nothing in there. Ain't nothing finna stop y'all boys. And that's the type of energy that makes you want to run through a fucking wall. Dennis Allen ain't bringing that energy. They needed that in Winston. That thing, I think that's gonna hurt them. Michael Thomas is no longer there. He was a staple. I think that's gonna mess with the locker room some. And then they lost their best offensive tackle in Piet. So I just think the Saints defensively can keep him in games. Derek Carr is not even his fault. I'm not even blaming Derek Carr. It's offensive line's fault and Dennis Allen's fault. It's malpractice what they're doing to him out there. And because of that, I think the Saints are just going to struggle again. They're gonna look good in games, but then they're going to struggle in other games.
I can agree with that. I think number 2, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had the same record and then the Saints just had the head-to-head.
And that's almost how it always happened. I mean, that was them last year. Bucks and Saints both 9-8, but the Bucks had the head-to-head for once. So it always happens in this division that it works that way for y'all.
Hell yeah. So I respect it because I got them number 2, but like I am not seeing any upside crazy from them. But I do feel them in a way that like maybe I could pencil in some holes and maybe we could just keep Derek Carr slightly safe enough to do something. And they still got Alvin Kamara, but we don't know what he is.
Now, this is where things get tricky for me, Kev. I don't know where to go here. I'm going to go with the picks I originally had and not try to change it up now that we're recording. I'm going to go with the Bucks at number 2. And it has to do with more of what I expect more out of the Falcons this year than what I don't expect from the Bucks. I think the Bucks could, like I said, I don't think the NFC East might have 2 playoff teams. This is a team this division I think could potentially have 2 playoff teams, and like whoever gets second here, it's gonna be a wacky year I think, and I think there's gonna be a battle tested squads. But I got the Bucks at number 2. I think they have an above 500 record. I think 9-8 is the floor for them. I just expect more out of the Falcons. I expect the Falcons are gonna have a big leap. I'll get more into that later. But the Bucks, I think they're solid. I try to shit them as much as they could because of the change in coaching, the handoff of the torch. No more Brady in town. The defensive wasn't as good. Last year they shut me up. The defense was really good. Antoine Winfield was top 2 safety in the league with Jesse Bates. So they franchise him. They re-sign Mike Evans. They re-sign Baker to a good deal. They get Levante David back on the field. Jordan Whitehead comes over in free agency. Bryce Hall, the corner. Like they get the defense. They keep the team the same. They improve on the defense. They draft a rookie center because old boy last year retired. Tristan Wirfs got the bag. He's arguably top 3 tackle in the league. And Baker can bake. I forgot who Baker was. I remembered Baker for his years, and I forgot about the Oklahoma boy that was a bad boy and didn't give a fuck about the rules. And I got to see that personality in Tampa Bay and the media stuff. I was like, oh, this is the Baker. He's comfortable. You can see the confidence coming back at him. And I think this is going to be a solid team. It's going to be a tough team to beat. Oh, and then that Vita Vea motherfucker, the preseason, we played them last week where he dominated our offensive line. There's a meme about he moved our offensive line, got like 6 yards back and threw him. He's disgusting.
Wow. I expect it. They have a ceiling to do well. I just think there's going to be a lot of miscues, and I think there's going to be a lot of. I just don't think that. I think what they did last year was very much so we just locked in crazy. We picked up steam, and there wasn't much film on what we're doing. If their defense goes crazy this season, they can have a good season, of course. But I think it's more on the defense. I just don't think the offense has it.
Yeah, I think the offense is only get better because the chemistry, like Mike Evans, Baker, they only had a year together. Chris Godwin only had a year together. Ricard White only had a year together. And they, like, just the more you play together, the more chemistry you're gonna get.
But
now we're trying to unleash the dirty bird, Kev. Y'all go out, get Kirk Cousins. Y'all go out recently, trade for Matthew Judon. Y'all go out and sit down and talk and get the vet safety Justin Simmons. Y'all get Raheem Morris on the coaching staff. Y'all draft rookie defensive tackle Rook Orahoro. So y'all are getting people for the D line. Y'all got a great coach now, a quarterback for right now, a quarterback in the future in Penix at the 8th pick that is very questionable and people still looking at crazy. How do you feel coming into the season? It's looking like a new team, revamped Falcons, no Arthur Smith, no Jonas Smith, no Cordell Patterson, but you had all the pieces for the future are still here, and finally a quarterback that can lead.
Sad to see Cordell Patterson go for sure. That is my dog. But
he held it down.
If Kirk can just play 3/4 of how good he was playing before he got hurt, we have a really high upside. But if he pulls the Carson Wentz on us, now this is when we struggle, and then this is when we have a long season, and we're really going to be battling out with the Bucs and the Saints. But Kirk was a baller before he got hurt. He was really looking like an MVP candidate. And then you have to look at the efforts that Raheem Morris, who was our coach when who was our quarterback coach, or our receivers coach when we went to the Super Bowl. He already understands the system. He understands the culture. He understands that we got to build the chemistry, get things going. Kirk Cousins understands that they paid him the bag, and they paid him the bag up front. So they want to see results immediately. Like Drake London seems like he's locked in. We probably want to see if we can get some help on the receiver side, but Kyle Pitts and Drake London are locked in. Bijan Robinson is expected to have a great year. A lot of usage, most likely. I'm praying that he stays healthy. And then our defense, Jesse Bates, AJ Terrell got his bag. Like, we're figuring it out. I don't think we're a perfect team. I don't think like we're immediately like a Super Bowl contenders like they were talking about on First Take the other day. But I do think that we're coming in to be a really great team to show that we're not the joke anymore.
Damn, I didn't know y'all was in the Super Bowl contention off rip like that.
Oh, you're not in the Instagram chat. That boy Kyle posted on the story. We was talking about it.
Damn, I didn't know. Damn, I did. I kind of said it earlier. Like, I do expect a big leap. They went 7-10 last year. I can count at least 2 or 3 games off the top of my head that Desmond Riddler single-handedly lost that game with the turnovers in the red zone. 3 interceptions before half type vibes. Like there's so like just then the fumbles. Then people also forget about the fumbles that he would also get that also were very bad. So it was like there was a lot of things that would happen. Like the Chargers game, that game was wonky with the when he got stripped or one of them got stripped. But yeah, 7-10. And there was like 3 or 4 games where I felt like they did it to themselves. Where if they didn't do it to themselves, they're 10-7, 9-8. They're maybe even 11-6 on the super optimistic side.
Kirk they lost 2 games to backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, one of the quarterbacks was on a plane over like week up. So yeah. So, but with all that being said, Kirk. You can hate him for what I love him. I'm Captain Kirk, big Captain Kirk guy. The injury he has is something I'm worried if he is not a pocket passer. But the fact that he isn't someone who's extending plays out of the pocket, always on the run, throwing and shit. Like he's not even that he's a runner. just the fact that he doesn't get out the pocket. He's a legit pocket passer. I'm not expecting him to really fall off at all. I think he's gonna do just fine. Offensive line does have to protect though. They all got that. Y'all got Lindstorm, but y'all need a little bit more than just one guy. And he's a guard. He's not even a tackle. All right, we just need some more protection for Kirk. But defensively, y'all go get Judon, who is by far y'all's best defensive rusher in a long time. They're saying this could be the first 10-sack season since Vic Beasley.
Big Vicky.
Jesse Bates is now with Justin Simmons. And now AJ Terrell. You're right to say one of the best secondaries in the league, if not the best secondary in the league. Defensive tackle Ora Horo in the second round just to beef up that D line so Judon's not by himself. Like they went out and did the things they need to do. It's all about how you perceive Kirk. If you don't think Kirk's going to do good, I can see why you have the Falcons not doing good this year. I'm one of the believers, and I think Kirk is legit going to do great. And they're going to go. I got y'all over 10 wins. I see y'all going like 11-6. I think y'all are going to be a legitimate playoff first seed. And that's why I didn't want to diminish the Bucks at second seed so much. It's not as much as what the Bucks don't do this year. It's just what I expect what the Falcons to do. And that's why the Falcons are winning this division.
And I like us to start off the season slow. Like I wouldn't be shocked if we start off 2-3 and then figure it out. And once we figure it out and face some adversity, now we can start rolling. I feel like a lot of times we peak at points like we'll start the season like 3-1, like we'll go and then we'll start peaking right there. And it's like, nah. Let's get some adversity, understand. Let's get together and mold and then build up throughout the season.
And this is the year, guys. This is the year. Kyle Pitts is going to be a top 5, top 3 tight end in fantasy football.
We'll see, man. I'm mad I didn't get him. I got Drake London, though, and Kirk Cousins.
Kirk loves his tight ends. So I expect big things there. But yeah, I can't wait for this one to come out. I can't wait to hear from the Panthers and Bucks fans about this. I really hope that they don't just see the thumbnail and see the standings. They actually watch because, like, I gave the Bucks credit. I think Bucks are a playoff caliber team this upcoming season.
I told him what it is. The niggas said dick.
Keep it real, Kat.
Yeah, I gotta tell him the truth.
It's gonna be an exciting season. NFC South, happy we saved this one for last for the picks. Broke it all down, gave out a first, second, third, and fourth. As always, appreciate y'all watching. Go down, like, and subscribe. Comment who you got winning this division and everything else in between. I'm Paul, pick a winner. Jordan Kevin, Waterboy Savoy. Y'all didn't know? Now y'all know, motherfuckers.